Welcome. Thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Friday, February 5, 2021. For today's editorial, Myanmar reverts to military rule, Suu Kyi under house arrest again. Recent events in Myanmar could not be more puzzling and disappointing to international observers and its neighbors in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. For some time now, the world, and especially the West, has lulled itself on the idea that Myanmar was reconnecting with the outside world after decades of military rule, and that eventually the country would move firmly in the direction of democratic government. That illusion had been reinforced briefly by the forging of a power-sharing arrangement between the military and the popular opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi, under which Suu Kyi was bannered as the country's de facto leader, while real power in Myanmar rested with the military. Then Myanmar held national elections for parliament last November. The balloting was totally dominated by Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy or NLD. To no one's surprise, the military-backed candidates were rejected completely by the electorate. Monday's events were particularly unsettling. In the early hours of Monday, February 1, 2021, the Myanmar army took over the civilian government of Aung San Suu Kyi and took her back into custody in a coup over allegations of fraud in the November elections. The new military government blocked access to Facebook as resistance to the coup surged amid calls for civil disobedience to protest the ousting of the elected civilian government and its leader Suu Kyi. Myanmar was under military rule for 5 decades following the 1962 coup, and Suu Kyi's 5 years as de facto leader was its most democratic period. Suu Kyi became a beacon for democracy in Myanmar following the victory of her NLD in the 1990 elections. The generals refused to hand over power, and Suu Kyi was placed under house arrest many times in the decades that followed. For that reason, her friends and admirers believe she will cope very well with this latest arrest. It is in the military's interest to ensure that the highly popular Suu Kyi remains safe and in good health. She was detained along with other civilian government leaders on Monday. Her party said Wednesday she was being charged with possessing illegally imported walkie-talkies believed to be used by her bodyguards that were found in her house in the capital, Nay Pyi Taw. The charge would allow her to be kept legally in custody until at least February 15. Suu Kyi is believed to remain under house arrest at her official residence in Nay Pyi Taw. Her arrest revived memories of her more than 15 years of detention in her lakeside home in Yangon during the country's previous period of junta rule. Myanmar military television said Monday the military was taking control of the country under a 1-year state of emergency. It said Commander-in-Chief Senior General Min Aung Hlaing would be in charge. Ironically, Monday was supposed to be the first day of a new session of parliament following the November elections that Suu Kyi's party won in a landslide. Clearly, the military did not want the new parliament to convene. The military maintains that its actions are legally justified, and the announcement of the takeover cited an article in the constitution that allows the military to take over in times of emergency. Some experts have expressed puzzlement that the military would move to upset the status quo in which the generals continue to hold tremendous power despite progress toward democracy in recent years. Some cited 2 reasons for the coup. First was the result of the November elections and the convening of the new parliament. A second reason is the looming retirement of Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, who has been commander of the armed forces since 2011 and who was put in charge on Monday. Whatever the reason, foreign governments and international organizations have uniformly condemned the military takeover, saying it sets back the limited democratic reforms Myanmar has made. The coup will be a test for the international community, which had isolated Myanmar during the decades it was under strict military rule and that enthusiastically embraced it as it moved toward democracy in recent years. In a statement, U.S. President Joe Biden threatened to impose new sanctions on Myanmar, a possibility others have raised. And that's the editorial for February 5, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.